Welcome to Holiday Horror, where we're going to show you how every holiday is full of terror. And I am joined by my dear brother Ricky. You ready to get into another fucking holiday here?
Yeah, man. But is this a holiday in name only, or
I
was
think
this?
so, because I was kind of looking to see where, like, did she say, I want some, girls for Mother's Day? But yeah, we're going by the name on this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it makes sense. And plus, it is about a mother. I guess If hey, man, to be fair, in my book, it's always Mother's Day. So let's go, bro. Let's go.
So we will be discussing Mother's Day, released on September 19th, 1980, a trauma entertainment film written and directed by Charles Kaufman. It stars the Rat Pack, Nancy Hendrickson as Abby, Deborah Luce as Jackie, Tiana Pierce as Trina, and Beatrice Pins as Mother. Two brothers kidnap three women and brutalize them for the pleasure of mother. So as I was watching this movie, I gotta say, first of all, I love where you have a good set of protagonists, and they start out like lambs to a slaughter and turn out to be lionesses themselves that can hunt. I love the whole turnaround in this movie because, it kind of let it that, well, they're just going to be going into this little trip, this reunion, and all three are going to die. It's going to go terrible for them.
All clear. You gotta be kidding me. Come on, we'll never get there.
What did you think of the Rat Pack?
I loved them. What I really liked about it, there was three completely different characters, different personalities. But yet they remain best friends. I love the relationship between the three of them. I love the way they go back into the I don't know, were they I don't know. I'm assuming they were high school friends, but they're in college. That's
College.
they're college acquaintances, but much more than that. Because have you ever been out with buddies and you let's say, "Hey, Joe, I'm gonna take you somewhere, but you don't know where we're going. You gotta trust me. I'm your boy." Would you have some trepidation like going into this trip? Because imagine if you tell me that and you take me to the fucking wilderness, bro, I'm out. I don't camp.
No,
When they were sleeping in those sleeping bags, bro, and you hear like the insects in the background and shit. No, 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 bro. I'm good. And the fact that they trust each other with doing this, mind you, there was some complaining on there, but I love it. I love how Trina was like the model. She's living in Beverly Hills. Weird pool party, by the way. That looked at like some kind of
mm,
80s orgy pornography that you would watch like back
it-
when you
that,
first started watching porn. What
but
the fuck?
that looked like a bunch of young actresses that were going to be doing a lot of questionable things for some roles for some Hollywood people.
Oh yeah, bro. But you say young actresses, but a lot of those motherfuckers were
We're
old
not all
men,
that
bro.
young either. I know. there was there.
That's
I
the
mean,
weird part.
but this was the 80s though. Remember in the 80s,
Yeah.
people looked a little bit more older for some of those ages.
Yeah, yeah, and Jackie, of course, is our to me is set up as the main protagonist. She's has that weird who's that? I forgot his name, but that weird guy who just showed up to her apartment and just said, "You mind if I crash here for a few days while you're gone or whatever?" I don't know. I thought he was gonna play a bigger role in the movie. Man, who's the third one? I forgot her name. The one
Um,
from Chicago.
all right, wait, Abby,
Yeah,
Abby.
Abby. So Abby moved to Chicago to help with her ailing mother, which would come into play a little bit later on.
Mhm.
Bro, that would have drove me nuts, bro. The way her mom was treating her. But I like that three different characters, three different backgrounds, but yet they're tight. They're really tight with one another. They're best friends. They love each other, and it comes into play within the film. The movie sets in motion because something happens to one of them, and then like you said, they're timid, but then that revenge. It's not even a survival mode because they could have escaped. It was revenge that was on their mind. And when they got the revenge, they still weren't all, like Rambo and shit. They were still a little nervous. They were sloppy. They made mistakes, but yet they were successful with, you know, their grand scheme as far as getting their revenge for their friend Jackie. I loved it, man. I loved the relationship. How about you?
I mean, same for me. First of all, I say this all the time. Nothing good happens going to the woods. And they weren't going to a cabin. They were going camping. But when you're watching it, like they knew what they were doing. They were resilient. Like the pranks they were playing on each other, the knife prank in the beginning, which comes to play later on. You know, these girls, well, I'm sorry, these women, like they can kick ass. And I'm sorry, I thought when we were introduced to Trina that she was gonna be the hoity-toity, like she complained. However, like the one that was gonna be the easiest one, and that bitch went Sarah Connor. Like I loved it. It
Yeah.
took the rape revenge trope and flipped it on its head for me, because it instead of they were resourceful because they were actually resourceful, not because they were forced
Mhm.
to be resourceful. Does
They
that
did
make
their own
sense?
fishing. That tells you right there that they're resourceful.
That's what I'm
Good job.
saying. So
Yeah.
it was for me, generally in movies that are the rape revenge, the girl all of a sudden picks up things, and tries to like they knew what they were doing. They knew how
Yeah.
to use things. And they all three of them were all three different backgrounds, yet can take care of themselves. And I think it's what I loved about it because it's as if mother, Ike and Adley picked the wrong three to fuck with. So like that was for me because that's I was not expecting that that's where the movie was going to go. Obviously one was going to have to be sacrificed, and Jackie being the one that gets raped and beaten while Trina is seeing it
Yeah.
and Abby is hearing it. So you're having both of them seeing and hearing it, what's going on, going, oh God, this is going to happen to us. And they said, hell no, this is not going to happen to us. They got themselves out of there. When Abby was lowering Trina in the sleeping bag, because at first I
Oh,
was like, I'm
yeah.
thinking that they have Jackie in there. Then I realized, no, I see what they're doing. And her hands are being, and she's literally just holding it. I'm like, oh shit, I think these guys picked the wrong set of girls to really mess with. And Trina didn't take off. She went up to go get her. They end up finding Jackie. And that's kind of what I had loved about this because, they got themselves quietly out of the situation. In other movies we've seen, it goes horribly bad. They start making noise. Like, for example, the one person might have started screaming with the hands being cut. They didn't do this. Abby sat there and fucking grimaced through that pain
Like a
while
champ.
her dude, it was I thought it was great how they got out of there. And then of course Jackie submits to, obviously the beating and the rape.
Well, now we'll do the fighting back for you.
And then Trina and Abby, it like that switch just flicked in their head and they fucked shit up. I honestly I can't believe I have not seen this movie. I mean, it'll be turning 45 in September. I honestly cannot believe I've never saw this movie.
This movie's as old as I am. That's crazy.
I'm like, wow, this is like and it's like towards the tail end. I mean, it came out in the 80s, but obviously you knew it was probably done
70s
somewhere
film.
around,
And
yeah,
the
it's a
70s, yeah.
70s film because it still had that 70s vibe to it.
As I'm watching it, I didn't check the year. And if I saw it, I didn't pay no mind to it. But I knew it was 80s. I said to myself, this has to be an early 80s film because the aesthetics are all 70s.
And that's the other part. Like it still gave it like it felt grindhouse. You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
did. It really did. Yeah.
And like so
It felt sleazy, and you could tell.
oh
And by the way, I know we brought it up, a trauma film, but it screams trauma. Absolutely.
And well, I guess I think we were messaging because this might be the first one we covered on here. We'll have to like try to remember as many
I saw
things.
Street Trash recently, and that was a trauma film. That's how I had trauma in my mind. Oh, another
Ah,
trauma
so
film.
yeah, so this is it probably because you saw that, and
That's what it
so
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is our first one. But yeah, I just loved how the women handled themselves in this movie, which gave it even more when they went to get their revenge. That it wasn't that all of a sudden we're gonna find this like energy, this thing to do with, this will. It was already fucking in there. They were just gonna go, motherfuckers, you just killed our friend. We are gonna fuck shit up. So look, dude, I'm gonna leave all that up to you because I know you love the gore stuff. And tell me how that rat pack kicked the family's ass.
The kills were well done. They were elaborate. Again, they weren't, overly clean and precise. I mean, dumping a TV on somebody's head, bro. That's like that's like fight or flight right there, man. That reminded me of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
I'll
when the
see.
when the guy picked up the TV. um, but yeah, man, I loved it. And what I liked a lot about their situation is this didn't happen only until Jackie died. And I like how Jackie's death was handled because again, she was framed to me as the main antagonist. She set up the party. She's the one that went into that creepy ass, I don't know what kind of convenience store that was, but
Yeah.
we had the typical Friday the 13th character. What's that guy from Friday the 13th? What's his
The
name,
one,
Joe?
oh god, I remember his name, but the one that warns him about not going over there.
Yeah, the,
Yeah.
the trope. Every
Yeah,
fucking slasher has that
yeah.
one. Jesus Christ, I can't. Oh, this is gonna kill me, man. I might. I'll circle back to that. I'll remember that. But yeah, that's what it reminded me of that. And I liked how she just didn't get killed right away. You thought that they saved her, but then later when they split up, and she dies very slowly, and she dies pretty much in Abby's hands, right in her arms, and that was sad, and I liked that because it was a touching moment. It felt real. That
Hmm.
scene when she passed away actually grounded the film to me, and it was like, wow, like if someone's gonna die, that's what it would be like, it's not always gotta be some crazy like gore effect. That was handled perfectly. And then when Trina comes back after she discovered their vehicle was destroyed, they had nowhere else to go, and they're like, "Nah, we can leave, but we're gonna go back. We're gonna." I
Oh,
said
and
Rambo earlier. They did put on the headbands too. At least one of them did. I think they both did, right?
yeah. What I also liked when Trina came back, mind you, they're supposed to be quiet because they're being hunted.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw her friend died and she let out that scream.
Yeah.
Like my friend just died, even though like it could draw it to them. It was that moment where a friend reacted how you would react if your friend died,
Yeah.
regardless of the dire situation you were in. So yeah, I mean, sorry to interrupt, but yeah, it was. I
No, that's
thought like
cool.
because you were talking about how genuine that scene was, and I felt Trina's reaction. Well, at first I'm like, oh my god, are you stupid? Then I'm like, you know what? In that moment, regarding shit. All right. You know what? In that moment, regardless of what you're going through, she emotionally reacted at the loss of a friend. And I was just like, oh, this movie is kind of special.
Yeah, I like that. Right, the movies it slowed down and everything went quiet for a second, and it gave you that emotional gut punch. Crazy Ralph, Jesus Christ, just popped into my head, bro. That's the guy, Crazy Ralph from Friday. But I did like the training montage with our two brothers, Ike and Addley, because they're trained and they have to subdue their victims. They gotta overpower them. They have to move strategically. And horror movies, they never show that. You know what I'm saying? These guys are like they're hillbillies that are, I mean, rednecks. I don't know. That other guy with the fake ass teeth, Ike. Jesus Christ. By the way, that actor, I know that guy. He's in so much shit. He was in the X Files as well. Seeing him younger here was weird, but the fake teeth, holy, that's you could tell it's a low budget film. But they
Oh
just slapped.
yeah.
They didn't bother detailing him or nothing. They could just like a piece of plastic in his mouth. But I loved it, man. It's a sign of the times. But not to digress too much. I liked the training because it did show that they were built for this by their mom. The mom trained them to do this sadistic, brutal shit to unsuspecting, innocent people. And I loved when they got their comeuppance. I mean, the fact that they poured Drano down Ike's throat, and that's a trauma classic with the like the projectile foam spewing from the mouth. Every trauma film has shit like that, bro.
You killed my brother! You come! You come, my brother!
On the psychology part, when fucking Abby was going to kill Mother, and then all of a sudden she actually went from she wasn't killing Mother, she was
Yes.
killing her mother.
Her, what she always wanted to do.
And just as she's talking, I'm like, oh, Abby, you've been
Yeah.
holding in a lot of anger, and it's
She
good
wasn't
because
seeing she wasn't seeing
Mm-mm.
Mother, she was seeing her mother.
her mother, Abby losing it just added another like layer to this movie because you had a character who was already psychologically traumatized by this one mother that she projected it onto this one.
If we're gonna talk about the killings, let's talk about them because I liked how they were like multi-layered, you know, Adley getting the fucking hammer to the fucking nuts, bro. I mean, oh man, Jesus Christ. And not just the hammer, like the sharper. What do you call that? The shit that pulls the nails out?
I
That
call it the side that pulls the nail out.
oh man. But before that, did he got stabbed with something through the throat? Or because something stabbed when it came. I couldn't tell. It was real thin. It was like really quick.
I thought that's how that
Because she got stabbed first from the back.
it
Back
was
of the neck.
from the sewing. It was one of those.
Yes, that's what you're right. It looked like a
yeah.
sewing needle, but it's
Yeah.
a long one. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Then he got
that's what you use for.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not sewing, but it's for like crochet.
Crochet. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
crochet
That makes
needle.
sense. That makes a lot of sense. Get the nut shot, and then he got suffocated with that dirty ass sock down the gullet, son. And then Ike, I love it. Ike, this motherfucker was like this guy was like he was definitely a Neanderthal, man. The way he would just throw himself around, like he threw himself through that fucking window, perfectly lands on the floor. Again, training.
Training.
And when he saw his brother, you know, he saw his brother dead. He fucking lost it. Then he got, like I said, the Drano. But then he runs inside the house after he First of all, the Drano, that's it. You're done with that. You're not surviving that shit. But he goes in, he gets the TV over the head. All the sparks and shit, it just completely burns his head to a crisp. He's still alive though. And then they take like that electric knife. I don't do they even have those anymore? Like
Well, it's funny because I thought it was electric because
you're the
I'm like,
chef.
is
You should
that
know this.
yeah? Well, no, I was like, is that an electric knife? Because I don't see a cord.
No, it was
So it's probably like
battery operated. Yeah.
rechargeable. But
Not
yeah,
back then. No, I don't think back then. They
yeah,
put
I
in a couple Duracells in there.
that's true.
But then, yeah. So again, that was Trina, right? Trina was the one that just
Trina.
kept bah, and you see the blood
That scene
splattering
was
on her.
awesome.
That was awesome. And of course, Mother got suffocated by the plastic tits. You know, the inflatable boobs, bro. She's all fucking fucked up and shit. So yeah, man. They all three got fucked up pretty well. I mean, the mother could have got it a bit more. But maybe because it's an old lady, they didn't want to fucking like stab her to death, and let's just suffocate her.
I'm watching her
You
slowly
laughed, didn't you?
suffocate from the plastic, and she's like,
And then her mother.
her mouth is stuck open, and so you're just like waiting for that.
Yeah.
And she's doing it all through the eyes at that point. Yeah, no, I did laugh at that one. Because it was a bit on the ridiculous, but it was also a kind of a fuck you for making your boys do this to women. You're gonna die by a pair of tits.
Yeah.
No, I'm a sick woman.
We'll take care of you.
You. I'm a sick woman.
We'll take care of you.
Addley!
Sure. We'll take care of you. just like we've done all these years.
Let me go.
Don't worry.
So while yes, this movie didn't actually happen on Mother's Day, we are fully aware for anyone who's going to call it out on the comments. It's called Mother's Day, so that's why we had to do it on Mother's Day. So this is the Beer Brothers gift for Mother's Day. Is this episode of Mother's Day? So we'll go ahead and go into our closing thoughts. Rick, any last things you want to touch upon this movie?
Bro, it's a lot of things, but one thing I will say, this had the 70s perfectly encapsulated in one panning shot at the beginning of the film, bro. When you see all those fucking hicks just just all lined up, man, in that fucking that hall, whatever that shit was. At first, I was like, "What the fuck? What is going on here? This like a cult? Like, what is this?" And then, of course, we got introduced to the mother shortly after that. Then that I swear to God, I was like, "That is that Lady Gaga?" Like the girl that she was with, that she gave those two people the ride. By the way, bro, holy shit! I did. We gotta talk about this. That little twist there. If you don't know any better, you thought that those two were the killers, and they were going, and the mother was about to get off in the beginning. Oh, that's their first victim here. You know what I'm saying? But all that tension, all that buildup was just for them to turn to change the radio, to turn the radio on. Well,
It
the
was
guy
it worked out well. I'm not gonna lie.
puts the shades on. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's what's up." And then he gets the machete, right? When they cut his head off, if you notice, as soon as he leans back, it turns into a fake head. You can tell it's a fake head, bro. And then when you see the Lady Gaga look like turn around, she goes, "Ah!" If you notice, when she goes, "Ah," blood already splats on her. And when it cuts, then the guy gets his head cut off. So she got the blood before the kill.
Oh,
Editing mistake. I catch shit like that all the time. No big deal though, because a movie like this is forgivable. But that head, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna get decapitated. You could tell it was a fake head. You knew that head was gonna roll, man. And there was another scene here. Did you notice it? Cause it completely. I didn't want to rewind it to hear it again, but it was late. I didn't want to, There was. Did you catch the Puerto Rican joke in this movie?
yes, I did.
What was it? Please enlighten me, because I
Oh
missed it.
man, no, of course.
Something
you
about chickens. Don't go look about it. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
no,
Listen.
no. It was actually I can't. It was actually about women. It wasn't about chickens. It
I
was
thought they were
about
talking about Puerto
chicas.
Rican
No,
chickens.
chicas.
Oh, chicas.
Yes, they were because about being scared about where they were at. Where do you think we're at with a bunch of Puerto Rican chica or something? It was
This
It,
again, it's a sign of the times. You can never make it
mhm.
now without somebody crying about it. Like that African American doorman was like, "You think I get some free time? I'm a black man or some shit. I'm not free." So random, you know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
You could tell movies like this. I just saw Street Chats a
I
few
haven't
weeks
yet.
back. You want to talk about a movie that if somebody will watch that now for the first time, that would get canceled in a heartbeat. It's nothing but racially fueled jokes in that movie. I don't get offended by this stuff. I was raised on shit like this. I know
With
it's
Blazing
entertainment.
Saddles, I mean,
Where's all the white women at?
we were raised on Blazing Saddles. Of course, none of that shit
Yeah.
offends us.
They could,
That's why
Blazing
y'all gotta
Saddles will
stop being so
never be made.
sensitive, man. It's just movies. It's supposed to be making us laugh.
But of
Anyway,
course, it's trauma, so it takes place where, Joe?
Canada?
It's trauma, New Jersey, bro.
Oh,
Trauma is
is
New.
it?
That's Lloyd Kaufman makes all his movies in Jersey. Like Stephen King does Maine.
Oh,
Yeah, it's funny because Lloyd Kaufman once said the reason why he always sets everything around Jersey because Jersey is within the shadows of Manhattan. So Jersey is always treated as like the outcast, and his movies are always for the small guy essentially. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. That makes a lot of sense why he films everything in Jersey, other than the fact that he is from Jersey. I'm assuming. I met Lloyd once, man. He is a. If you ever meet him, bro, have a conversation with the man. He is hilarious. A buddy of mine brought him some DVDs for him to sign. Well, this idiot gives him the DVDs not even open. He's like, "Come on, man, you expect to open this shit? Yeah, you open it." He made my boy pick the plastic off, but he's a blast. He's so much fun. He's a movie guy through and through. And I thought of you in this one scene when they show. I think it was Addley and Ike's room, Did you see what your boy Bruce was fucking bodied, bro? You saw that shit? The figure
Mm-mm.
of Batman? He's all slumped
No.
over. You didn't see it? They had a
No.
figure of Batman without the cowl, without the mask. It's just Bruce Wayne's face. You see the logo. He's all like slumped over, body. They had an action figure just. Oh, but how did Joe not see that shit?
Well, I'm definitely going to be seeing this movie again. So,
Oh, and the last thing I will say is I found it funny when Ike shows up in the cop car in the uniform. Like, how the fuck did he get a cop car and a uniform? Obviously, he killed the cop.
They must have killed the cop, and
Obviously, but how did that get caught? I don't know. You kill a cop. I'm assuming you kill a cop. You're going to be all on you like white on rice. But this movie did feel less Friday the 13th and more Texas Chainsaw Massacre to me, at least. Not in a negative way, but you know.
because when I was watching the movie, two nods that I picked up: the the sewing needle or
Mhm.
the crochet needle, uh, Halloween, and I thought of because the cop in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So when he showed up in the cop car, that it gave me the
Oh yeah,
Texas
the
Chainsaw
remake. Yeah.
Massacre feels. So I was like sitting there going, "Oh wait." So yeah, I was like sitting there like, they threw a little couple little nods in here to some horror movies that they saw, obviously.
I loved it. By the way, I love this movie. It's a blast. It's not for everybody. I can see that, but it is a cult film and it deserves its cult status.
Oh, and I again, it's crazy that I never saw this. I honestly I saw what the cover looked like when I was looking things up. How did I not use the cover to even watch this movie? Because I told you back in the '80s, the covers also drew me in. I loved it. And the other another part is that two women survived.
Yeah,
Generally, in a situation like this, only
cool.
one
That's
survives.
cool. Only
So
6
you,
kills in the whole movie. Well, I say
yeah.
only. That's a good.
Well, I mean, there
That's
could have
still a
been
good
more.
amount.
We don't know what the family had done this all
Oh
before
yeah,
this.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, no, for me, I was thoroughly enjoyed. I was like, I want to see this again. Now that you told me that there was a Batman little thing in there, yeah, I definitely want to see this again.
Fucking
Um,
Bruce got bodies.
but I will say though, we're not quite sure if Trina and Abby survived though, because like right at the end, and it's where watching the movie as it finished, I said, man, I would have loved to have seen this in the movie theater. When Queenie popped out, and Mother had been telling them about Queenie, and the
Zeus tells
boys
the
are like,
truth.
yeah, she'd been telling the truth the whole time. So Queenie popped up and knocked her off her little chair while they were all inside.
That's
I
true.
thought that ending was an awesome ending.
That's
I
a
I I,
that. Yep.
I jumped. I literally did not see it coming. And as I was sitting there, I'm like, oh yay, they got away. And then Queenie came out. I jumped. And I thought it was a perfect way to end this movie.
Perfect because it didn't show him. It didn't show Queenie like attack them. She jumped and it freeze framed and it slowly pushed in frame by frame, kind of like Friday the 13th when Jason Voorhees comes out of the water, grabs
Yeah.
Alice. Similar.
What do you mean? We were meant to survive. We were strong, both of us. And don't ever forget it.
But yeah, no, for me, it was. I'm glad we covered it. Yes, again, we know it like the events didn't take place on Mother's Day, but we're going with it. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That crazy Ralph guy when he comes out of the store and the girls leave and they trash his place up. By the way, that was fucked up. But when he goes lesbians, when he said lesbians.
Again, sign of the times. This movie was definitely a time capsule.
Good pick, brother. Good pick. Good shit.
So obviously, if this is May and it's Mother's Day, you know what comes next month. So in our next episode for Holiday Horror, we're going to be doing Father's Day. I think it's this. That's the name of it. If not, we'll find something involving Father's Day. Because I'm a dad, so we got to cover some kind of.
It's Father's
Oh,
Day.
well, there is that. Yeah, you're
No,
right.
we covered creep show
We
already
did,
though.
we
We
did,
did
and it
it.
would
We
only
did it.
involve one little story on there. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out. But
yeah,
yes,
yeah. No,
there
but
will
you know
be.
what? There is a Father's Day. You know what?
There, I thought so.
I'm checking. I'm checking.
No,
Ricky
there
Van's checking.
is. I could have sworn that there is. So thank you for joining us on another episode of Holiday Horror, where again, we're going to show you that every holiday there's some fucking horror, whether it is your family or somebody trying to kill you. With that, I'm Joe the Psychologist, my brother Ricky Van. Make sure that if you have not gotten your mother some flowers or something when you watch this episode, because it's 8 o'clock, you might be in some trouble. But it's
Don't be that
Mother's Day.
person.
Don't be that person. So make sure for Mother's Day, you show your mother some love. Until next time, we are out.
You get what you deserve, them deep burns, you lesbians. You won't be causing no one no trouble no more.
All clear? You gotta be kidding me. Come on, we'll never get there.
Wait a minute, let me put this beer can down.